welcome back to the LEC, where it is time for a Spanish derby. We've got the Mad Lions Koi up versus Heretics, and because it is so important that we have a Spanish derby, and that the people that are both in the teams and need to cover the teams need to be either Spanish or know about Spanish, I made up a little test for you, and that will decide if you can stay on the desk or not. I'm going to be giving you randomized Spanish sentences, and depending on how you say them, you are either approved to go over Mad Lions Koi or not. Now, I can't do this by myself, so let's bring in a special guest. Let's see. Hola, Ibai, ¿cómo estás?
Hello. ¿Qué
Hello.
tal? ¿Cómo estás? ¿Todo bien?
Muy bien, muchas gracias. Yo sé que es muy importante para ti a incluir en tus equipos a los españoles o gente con una conexión con España. Pues hemos creado un examen para los comentaristas y van a leer una frase en español.
Ok.
Y tú, como Joaquín Phoenix en Gladiator, puedes decir si están dentro o fuera. Si
Ok.
les permites hablar de este partido, ¿ok?
Perfecto.
Perfecto. Who wants to start?
I'll start.
Finn wants to start. Here's your sentence.
Riven ruge, ráfagas ritmisas. Ryze, runas, rinde rituales, suracas, sana serafín, sagrando singt silba sustancias, sinestrezas. Jinx, junta joyas, jardín, jocoso, yarvan, juzega, jactancia, jugunda. Elise, teje telas, enreda enemigos al estar en vista estruendo estratégico.
¿Tú piensas?
Okay, I need to talk with my expert.
Okay.
No he entendido nada ahora.
Sorry.
Sorry, Finn, you're out.
Sorry, man.
You're out.
Good luck
Bye.
in next year.
Good luck next year, indeed. Yeah. Jamada, maybe? Up next?
Who, please? Yamato Cannon?
No, Jamada.
Okay. Because if it's Yamato, it's okay. You know. Okay. Sorry.
We don't hear, I think.
Oh, you don't hear him?
No.
we
Oh,
don't
is your
hear.
mic on? Let's go to Broxah. You want to go to Broxah first then? Maybe?
I can.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll go to you first.
Yes. Ahora sí.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, you
Okay.
do hear him now?
Oh, you do? Hello.
Yes, go ahead. Go again.
No tendrá mucho ataque, no tendrá mucho defense, pero me encanta. Es muy difícil de controlar, sobre todo la Q, porque tienes que explotar y controlar la distancia muy bien para stunar.
It's nice. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, nice. You can stay.
It's good.
Awesome.
Congratulations.
Love it.
You're
Okay.
from Zamora.
Next up, we have Broxah.
Oh,
Go
no.
ahead.
Espero que gansoy XD. Solamente soy es muy divertida. A la gente le hace gracia, lotila, popuya, hueshuer, lineas, divos son tan monas como cuando canta sobre la tada de chocolate, lol. Es super random, pero también más lista de lo que... I have no idea.
That's it.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh no, I'm not ready for it.
Oh no.
Sorry, man.
Yeah,
Sorry.
it is okay.
Broxah,
I
you're
get
out.
it, I get it.
Bye. Laure, are you ready?
Wow. Sjokz, I'm not even allowed to speak Spanish. J'ai pas le droit de parler espagnol. Je suis française. Les Français n'ont pas le droit de parler espagnol dans ce match. Donc je suis désolée. Lo siento, Ibai.
She doesn't even want to.
No.
No. I think, Ibai, that's probably...
No hagan en francés, otro palo. No hagan en francés, otro palo.
She only speaks French. She
Je parle que
doesn't want to
français,
speak
je suis
Spanish.
désolée. Je parle pas
¿Solamente habla francés?
Sí.
Ah, ok, no problem. No pasa nada. Suficiente tiene con que hoy hayan perdido sus dos equipos, así que lo dejaremos.
It's enough that you lost both your games so you can stay. Oh my god, so I have to... hey, muchas gracias a ti y la partida comienza en unas 10 minutos. ¿Qué esperas jugando contra Heretics?
Pues creo que ellos son un equipo muy veterano. Creo que para el primer día y ser un mejor de uno probablemente tengan ventaja, pero creo que podemos ganar y estoy seguro de que lo haremos.
Yeah, he said that Heretics has a lot of veterans, so maybe they have like a bit of advantage in that case because we have a lot of rookies. So we hope that we do well and let's see how it goes.
Awesome. I saw the content piece that you made. It was really funny. Mucha suerte, muchas gracias. Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Thank
Awesome. I think my analysts can come back, honestly. They can. Where are they?
I'll see myself out.
Yeah, you can
Bye.
go, though. Oh, that was great. Hey, all jokes aside, maybe you could go to the side. I'm not going to stay in the middle, probably. All jokes aside, you all did pretty good. That is difficult.
I felt like I got a really hard one compared to the rest. I'm just
Yeah.
gonna say it. I'm gonna say it. Like,
Yeah, sure.
it was really hard.
Typical top laners complaining. Anyways, so Mad Lions Koi, of course, there was a bit going on, a merger, of course, of sorts, where they now are still, they're called MDK, will be the short code for them, but of course the merger has taken place, and the only remaining member there is Elyoya, flanked by 4 rookies. And on the other side, we have Team Heretics, who are basically Broxah, the old G2 top side, right?
Yeah, I'm very much looking forward to seeing these guys in action. I remember playing against them on Fnatic in 2018-19, and it was a pretty similar experience where we would always be like rather serious, but we look over at them no matter what time, and they're laughing. And I remember a couple of moments actually going into big games where they would start typing before the game had even begun. I don't know what they were typing, but it led to us literally muting all of them before the game even started, because it could be stuff like, hi Broxah, look to your left, and then I look, and the 5 G2 players are staring into my soul to secure mental advantage. And you don't want that going into games. It's not going to work
No,
out.
you don't. I guess the big question here is, you know, you have that top side that used to be so successful. You have Jankos, who is coming off an insane year. Let's be completely honest once again. But is it going to be enough when you see the combination of now Flakked joining, of course, also an old G2 player, and Kaiser in that bot lane as well?
I feel like they might have a slow start, Heretics. Like, I think they have really strong players on paper, but I do think these are the kind of players that thrive in a high stakes environment, sort of like a playoffs. Sorry, I was standing in the wrong spot. I'll keep going. They're thriving in a high stakes environment, and I don't know if I think they will need some time to adapt to the meta and get back into their peak shape.
Yeah, I guess that's the question, right, Jamada? Because on paper, it's easy to think back to 2019 and everything that went well, but this is actually a completely different project.
Yeah, it is a very different project.
Is this also not working?
I don't know, is it? I hope it is. Oh,
You want to talk into my mic?
Yeah, we can. I mean, at home they can hear you.
Oh, okay, at home they can hear me. Okay,
Yeah.
lovely, that works then. Yeah, I mean, it's a completely different project, yes, but I think the important thing is that these players have so much history together that, you know, the usual kind of early bumps in the road that you'd maybe experience on a new team shouldn't really exist just because of how many games these guys played way back when. So I think that's the most exciting thing. And this should be a team where, you know, you mentioned that there's always good vibes. It's going to be really difficult to, you know, do things like tilt this team. This team's not going to, you know, lose 3 games. Well, weekend, maybe they do, but
Maybe.
that's not going to throw them off their game. They should come back revitalized. And I think that's the most exciting thing. Not only is it us getting to revisit a G2 topside from 2019,
That is
it's the fact that they should always be okay.
Yeah, it's true. The base level should be fine, especially when you see also that bot lane in addition to that. So let's talk about Mad Lions Koi a little bit. That's the whole reason why we also talked to Ibai earlier. But Elyoya has his work cut out for him, right, Broxah? And he's been one of the best junglers in the LEC for many, many years. But this is a completely different job, which I think is incredibly difficult for him, looking at who he's surrounded with now and what kind of leadership he's going to have to bring.
Yeah, I think typically we see some of the best teams having maybe 1, 2 rookies and a bunch of veterans surrounding them, because when you come into the scene as a rookie, there's so much to learn. But now Elyoya and the coaches certainly have a lot of pressure on their shoulders to get everybody ready to fight. And I do want to say, if they all play similarly to Jackie's in last game, if the confidence is on the same level, then they're probably going to be fine. But again, we'll see what happens, because it's a tricky position for them to be in.
We have to keep in mind that, like, 2020, when Mad was rebuilding from the old Splice, they actually stayed with Humanoid, which was not that old back then. He was not a veteran by any means, and built around him with 4 rookies. So it is a tried and true strategy by Mad Lions to do something like this. And they obviously will have a lot of faith in the rookies.
Yeah, I think that's a good talking point because we do have a little bit of time before we get to the stage. I think it's always happened time and time again with rosters where there are a lot of rookies where, you know, in your tier list you would put them low or the fans would not have any trust in them from the start because yeah, that's logical because you don't know how good they're going to be. Someone made the comparison, I believe, when we were doing your meeting with the Mad Lions back then, right? For instance, you know, Splyce is a good example as well. So why is it that we're kind of being a little bit harder on the baseline of this team than on others?
I think it's, like you said, it's natural, right?
Yeah.
We do obviously also have the very recent comparison of they played some of the core of the now calming core from the finals in summer 2023. But again, to a lot of us, they are still unknown quantities. And it's a big jump from EMEA level play, from ERL play to LEC. So I think it's natural to be harsh. It's not natural to have you know, super high expectations, but we still know that these guys are going to have a lot of progression eventually because that is kind of what Mad Lions tends to breed in their camp.
I like that you put it that way. It's because we have tape, because we saw a lot of these players playing quite recently just in Montpellier, right, versus a lot of this KC core. But Finn, you have your eye specifically on the top lane. You were already talking about him in Ready Check. Walk us through, Myrwyn.
This guy is very exciting. This guy is coming in with a crazy champion pool that rivals only Adam, I think, in recent history. Oh. He's been the kind of guy that will just pick anything that he thinks is good into enemy champion. Whether that is a Phil 6 top, a Seri top, a Karma top, we have a champion on the screen. That is all his recent champions from 2023, Summer Split, and Iberian Cup. I can't count, but that is like at least 20 champions. And I see some Udyr, I see some Vayne, I see some Seri, I see some Rumble, Fiddlesticks. Like this, we don't know what he's gonna pick. He did promise me on Twitter today that he would lock in Seri.
He promised that.
He promised.
He said it.
Promise.
I extended his words a little bit, but I'm just very hyped, and I really hope he's the kind of guy that comes in and sticks to his roots. He doesn't really come in and change like many other top laners that just go in and eventually become another Sion machine or Ornn machine. I hope he really stays and tries to stay true to his identity.
We'll see indeed what they come out with, but let's also check in with Perkz about how he feels about the reunion with his former teammates.
It feels very natural, like home-like experience where you're surrounded with people you know very well, and it makes me feel more comfortable and relaxed because I know what to expect, and even if we, let's say, don't perform maybe the best from the get-go, we have so many good memories together that I think that's a bond that's like very hard to break, and like I know that these players will always perform when it matters. Like I truly believe in it, so, and that gives me like kind of more of an ease going into the matches. Yeah, I just think both Jankos and I are very open to like learning the game and adapting, even though we are both seasoned veteran players, right? So we have like more of an eager to learn and adapt mindset, maybe more so than some other veterans, and then that's why we tend to work together or make our team stronger.
Still a lot of hunger there on the side of Perkz, which we have been knowing, of course. And earlier today, we played a little game where we talked about narrative categories and where Perkz would be. And two people put him in Desolate Dynasties, so basically having to have redemption, and the other on, what was it? Lasting Legacy. I think when we're fair to the top side of them, they have proven everything they need to prove, right? Be it both in Europe and internationally in a way. So it's interesting to look at kind of that drive and how it evolves when you've already won that much.
I think for Perkz, he's now in a very different position than he's ever been in his entire career, right? Where he started out winning almost everything, easily became one of the best mid laners in Europe, eventually obviously had a bit of a rivalry with Caps, but he's been so good in all teams he played for, except Vitality. Yeah. And even on Vitality, it looked pretty promising at the very start. Even early last year, they were pretty good. But if you look at his match history from the end of last year, I mean, I don't know about Finn, but I'm having CLG flashbacks, and that's not something I would want for Perkz, that's for sure. It's looking very red. It didn't really go his way. So now, coming back from that is a very difficult position to be in. But he also kind of said it here in the interview that at least knowing he's surrounded by Jankos and Wunder, he can feel good, he can feel comfortable, and obviously there's a good reason to have high expectations.
Yeah, absolutely. I did try and get your win rate against that G2 topside back in the day. I think it was decent. I don't know how decent.
I saw it was 6-1 in 2018, and I think it was 6-7 in 2019. No, 2018-19 was... No, 2019 was 6-7.
Yeah.
I was
And 2018, well, you know.
6-1, yeah. So that was very, very good.
Yeah, it was very, very good. In any case, as we get into these picks and bans, Jamada, have you been inspired by the picks and bans that we've seen today, or are you left wanting?
I'm left wanting. Sjokz. There's not been a whole bunch of you know, very out there picks today.
No.
Xin Zhao's probably kind of the furthest reach we've had.
Such a crazy pick.
Such a crazy pick, I know. So I'm kind of hoping that your good friend in the top lane, in
Myrwyn?
Mad Lions,
my best friend,
is going to bring something special.
Yeah, no, I do think it's natural when everything changes around you that you try to keep something similar, and that being the champions makes a lot of sense to me. Like as a pro player, you can't expect to switch out every gear and expect the same machine. Like you have to keep something similar so you can slowly adapt, and I think that makes a lot of sense why people still play the same champions. Myrwyn coming in, a fresh face. Yeah. He doesn't have anything established, so that's why we get the chance with these rookies to see them actually bring in some new stuff. So I'm really excited, as I said a million times already. About
yeah, you did, but hopefully like now we just don't get like a Renata and R5 or like, I mean, it can't be, they're actually on the other side, I think. But let's see. I hope he doesn't disappoint me.
No, I have eyes on you, Myrwyn.
No. Okay, let's see indeed. I wonder how much of a question mark it is going to be for these teams. Usually, Broxah, when you come into day one of a split, do you have like, usually, of course it depends on the team, but is it, okay, we have these picks that we're gonna stick to, most likely if they don't get banned out, or the general plan?
Usually there's like a list of, let's say, 5-ish champions each player knows that there's a very high chance they're going to be playing at game day. Sometimes if you have newer players, rookies, which obviously there's a lot of, that list might be a bit smaller because it's really all about comfort. Like they're all going to be out of their element. There's going to be a lot of thoughts in the back of their mind, things that can distract them, so just get them as comfortable as possible, get them ready, try to set them up for success. And we'll see exactly how Mad Lions decide to do it, because we have seen slightly different draft approaches today from the different teams.
That we have.
And we're in draft. How exciting. We see a Nico Man coming out, which is like the best supporting mid laner in a way, that it will always push the waves, and always be able to move with his jungler to whatever skirmish happening. So they don't want Jankos and Perkz to work as that good old duo that they have in the past.
Yeah, I'd kind of describe it as your jack of all trades mid right now, right? Wave clear, decent team fighting, decent skirmishing. It doesn't really fall off all of the value.
The only thing
right?
Nico lacks, I think, is side laning. She's pretty bad at pushing out sides 1v1, so she needs a lot of help in that manner. But we do see Tristan and Ashe bans, which haven't been a bit unusual today. Usually we do see the LeBlanc and Rumble bans coming out initially, and Nocturne as well been very heavily banned. But there's a heavy target on the AD pool right now. Yeah,
very, very heavy target. There's a lot of very powerful picks still left up. The Kaiser as well has been kind of up and down priority throughout the day. So I'm kind of wondering whether that's going to be banned away or left up.
I think this is Heretics saying, Myrwyn, do you play Rumble? How good are you at meta champs? Rumble is the strongest meta pick. Do you want to play it? I think they're challenging Myrwyn here in draft. And I think they might even ban like LeBlanc or a jungler that works well with Rumble, just to make sure that, do you want to play it or not? I think that would be a really smart way of approaching a game one draft against the rookie, to challenge them like this. Especially
because if Wunder gets a matchup he's played a ton of times, it's going to be pretty straightforward. Like Wunder knows exactly what to do in the Rumble matchup, probably has played it way more than his opponent.
There it is, the first game, Rumble is open. We see the Heretics.
We see the LeBlanc being grabbed right away. Wunder obviously has the opportunity to take Rumble himself, but again, it really depends on their priority. Also worth noting that with the AD carry pool being thinned out so much, there's a very high chance that Flakked has his eyes set on the champion already.
I've had my eyes on Myrwyn's match history in solo queue for a while, and I've seen a lot of LeBlanc top in that match history.
No. Don't tease us.
I'm keeping it.
Okay, nice.
I'm saying this early, so if it picks it later, I come off as a prophet.
Hey, guys, if I may, Ryze has been locked in. This is kind of interesting. I'm wondering.
Ryze is what?
Ryze has been locked in.
Yeah, Perkz Ryze is what?
His Ryze is a serious word. No.
That's an old movie.
He gets a new chance now, actually.
Yeah, he does.
So, well, we wait for what they pick alongside the Ryze.
But I want to know why Jamada's so happy that Ryze
Ryze, for one, is an answer, I think, into both the LeBlanc, and if Myrwyn does eventually land on the Rumble, I think it's going to end up being pretty good into both. And they also got the Lucian, so that was what that second block-in is. So there's a lot of flexibility between the R1 and R2 of Heretics. Aphelios, super strong, and there's not really been too many support picks banned out. So I feel for Mad Lions, they've got quite a few options still left up and available if they want to go towards the jungle, if they want something like Nocturne, or if they want to pick up the support duo. It's really up to them.
A little throwback to 2019 Spring Split. There was one top laner tearing up every matchup on Ryze. Do you know who that was?
Wunder.
Wunder. I remember streaming against, this was just when I joined LEC, and I was streaming against Wunder Ryze, and I got a complete reality check. I never saw the champion played like that. I couldn't breathe under my tower every single time I played against him. And I would love to see Wunder play the champion again, because it's such a throwback to the old days of old G2.
Is he going to get his wish, Broxah?
Well, I think there's, at the very least, a very high chance that Heretics is going to keep the Ryze until the very end of draft, similar to what Matt is doing with the LeBlanc. They don't want to give up any information early, and Heretics still have a lot of jungle options available for.
Okay, Finn, let me throw something at you. Would Myrwyn be the kind of guy to play LeBlanc top?
Yes, definitely.
He just said this.
Oh, he did? Okay,
Yeah.
then I'm dead. My bad. So, yeah.
He definitely is looking for it.
Yeah,
I
okay.
can promise you that.
He wants to, but if it will work, who knows?
The thing with LeBlanc top is she has very few bad matchups, but she's not a bad champion per se, but she doesn't offer that much unless she's very far ahead of the curve. Yeah. So when you play LeBlanc top, you have a responsibility to get ahead. You can't just sit there and play LeBlanc top and just wait for the game to kind of happen like you can in the tank, for example. You really need to take initiative and make sure things are happening around you.
Let's see. I want to see it, and it will be one hell of a statement to make in your first game.
Definitely. So Heretics ban and use the normal engage supports here that pairs well with Aphelios. We might see a Rel ban. We do see the Rumble ban coming out after all. Which makes sense because the build you go recently on LeBlanc is actually AD. So you actually want an AP top when you play AD LeBlanc, which Rumble obviously pairs well with.
I wonder what options are still available for Myrwyn in the AP department if the LeBlanc doesn't go towards him. We got another blank lock-in. We'll get the answer very soon. It's Vi. Okay, so engage locked in for Heretics, so they're not kind of just locked into hoping that Nami wave hits or looking for weird flanks with Perkz, or well, not Perkz ults, Ryze ults. Don't know where the Ryze is right now. And yeah, Renata, if this goes through, it's just kind of a very strong, stable 2v2 in the bottom lane, which you should be able to rely on once you start bringing your jungle presence down there.
Yeah, I think in terms of bot lane, we're seeing slightly different approaches from the teams, with Heretics wanting to play very aggressive early on with Lucian, Nami, and not giving Aphelios, Renata a chance to scale and survive until the team fights. Of course, how aggressive they're going to be able to play really relies on the pick that Mad Lions goes for here, and whether LeBlanc is indeed the top laner or if it goes to the mid lane to Fresskowy.
I think you have to put it mid there. It's so hard to blind pick top, but they do blind pick Gwen, which is brave. Blind pick Gwen has historically been a champion you can blind pick, but it's always faced many challenges because Gwen is a champion that scales very, very hard. So if you pick a strong lane bull and bring your jungler up there, you can make sure she doesn't actually get to play the game.
Reluctant for Wunder then?
Renekton would be a good option. We saw it earlier today. We saw Adam completely destroy Murder game, even though the Gwen actually scaled in the end. We do see a Gragas. I assume that will be Gragas top into Gwen, which is an answer. I wouldn't say a counter, and I think if you blind Gwen, you're quite happy when enemy locks Gragas.
And we get to see if the Perkz memes get revived, because he's actually playing Ryze.
That is a throwback.
So let's see.
I mean, this is a very mid-jungle focused game. We have the Vi Ryze. Ryze wants to push the waves, and he needs Vi behind him so he can push and move freely. And then we have the LeBlanc, who wants to be able to dash in, hit the chain on Ryze, and then have Shinja following up on that gank. So there will be brawls, especially in the mid-jungle 2v2. I think that is paramount for this game.
Yeah, I think it's going to be really awkward, though, because the mid lane is so wide now. So I'm kind of curious about how the 2v2s themselves will necessarily play out. I think a lot of the setup being in the hands of Mad Lions in the earliest stages is going to really help them out. Once level 6 is online with the Vi, though, I think that does definitely edge, in my opinion, towards Team Heretics.
That's cool. We haven't really thought that much about it, but the distances are different. So your dashes and kind of even like your Vi coming in or whatever, that could be slightly different. Broxah, what's your gut telling you about this game after these drafts?
I think it's going to be a lot about Heretics using the early game tools they have available. They have so much playmaking, a lot of ways to go aggressive. They gotta make use of that. They gotta get an early advantage to snowball, because otherwise I think it's gonna be tricky for them in the middle late game.
Okay, we'll see what happens. I do believe in a second my casters will be ready. I'm not sure if they are already. I don't know, so we're gonna wait. Finn, are you disappointed that he's not taking LeBlanc in the top lane? Oh, I'm sorry, you don't get the answer. We're going into the game.
You'll never know.
You'll never know.
It's a yes.
Saludo ahí va a todos los baños españoles y también a la rata. Mark, if you're out there, hopefully my Spanish wasn't too terrible. Koi fans seem unconcerned. They remain focused on their job here. Cheer for Koi. Thank you, Rob.
Got your back, man.
Yeah, I appreciate you.
Here for moral support. Not Spanish support.
Yeah, that's true. I mean,
Okay.
we're both going to need a lot more support. Anyway, Team Heretics. A lot of setup here around the mid lane. See how this one unfolds. I think for us, pretty reserved expectations for Mad Lions Koi on the Euphoria podcast, just because there are so many new names and faces. Could obviously hit the ground running, but much more veteran roster and lineup stands on the opposite side from them.
I think at least the impression that I have of this squad is just going off of the Masters team is that we're probably going to see a huge amount of pressure down towards the spot side. So for people who don't know, Movistar Riders was where Fresskowy, Supa, and Alvaro all came from. We ended up having Isma, who also came over, but he's gone to a different team. So Elyoya kind of being the veteran and taking the reins here in this squad. I'm wondering if he'll try and play into that style, or if it'll be a very different look for this team. It was a squad that liked to play hyper aggressive in the early stages and try and look for skirmishes and look for evades, but we'll have to see if that's going to be the case here.
No. For now, some silent trading. Yeah.
Yeah, I just double-checked my mic that it wasn't just me that was hearing nothing.
It's old-timey. Throw the black and white filter on. We'll adapt. Throw text up between everything. Lucian jumps in. All right, so Flakked doing okay in the early trades here. I'm going to be honest. Based on the first game we saw of Lucian, I'm just going to draw a sweeping conclusion that this is still a scrim pick in our region. And then I'm not here for it. But it'd be cool if Flakked and Kaiser could prove me wrong. Meanwhile, on the top side of the map, Wunder phase rushing around as Gragas. Makes a lot of sense against the Gwen. You do not want to take extended trades against Gwen as Gragas. You just hit the belly bop, one auto, walk away. If she keeps continuing to commit, you throw in one more ability and you can just scooch out.
Yeah, just try and survive off the passive, make sure you're all right. But I think this is going to be a lane that over the course of time, Myrwyn will start to win out. And Wunder going that AP route, I imagine again, as most Gragas top lanes are going, will get to a point where he just tries to clear the wave and survive in that way, just preventing Myrwyn from hitting the tower. But
yeah.
I think a huge amount of this, as the Desperate pointed out, is going to be a case of looking at Jankos and Perkz and how well they can try and control this bottom side of the map, because already you can see MDK moving down to the spot lane to help out Supa.
Yeah. And obviously Lucian, Nami really can start to take over the lane with a few levels under their belt. Aphelios just leveraging that range advantage alongside the Renata. Try to get a little bit more done here. Elyoya already invading, already getting a bit more control in the jungle. Jankos will spot this one out. Is he ready for the 1v1? But it's not even a 1v1. Alvaro first on the roam. There to cover. Some nice clean play thus far. Perkz, no real business being here. Chain's already now connecting. Glasc takes him over the wall, but Wind does become lightning. Perkz now forced to flash out to safety. Elyoya, does he want to follow up? And he does! Instant first blood for the side of Mad Lions. Jankos now running for the hills, and it's going to be another one! Fantastic start for the rookie squad on stage.
And this is exactly how you want to try and play these early advantages with the push in the bottom side. Supa and Alvaro cutting off Flakked and Kaiser from being able to enter in means that you just get this isolated 1v1, which Zhao is perfect to try and punish. Jankos tries to go into Supa, not going to be the case, and we'll get to see it here. As you go forward, Supa, good flash over the wall, and then Perkz just completely caught out. Fresskowy already had to push him mid, Perkz forced to flash, and Elyoya able to follow up knowing that he had the support of the team in tow. Really well played by MDK, understanding exactly how to play out these early few levels with that push on bottom mid.
Yeah, and I gotta say, it feels like a bit of a misstep from the side of Heretics overall, just trying to contest there, knowing that you didn't have bot push. Really trying desperately to fight for that objective, not get 3 buffed by the side of Elyoya, but in the end, you know, MDK coming out on top. Looking very powerful. Good news is level 3 there for Flakked and Kaiser can start to take control of the lane, at least somewhat. But Elyoya is here again. And that's how the meta works. You just keep ganking bot, and it's part of the reason why we saw Wunder pick such a defensive option like the Gragas. The pullback is there. Kaiser set up, lined up. Elyoya's not even going to do anything. He already got the assist. Just give it to Supa. Manages to grab a kill in the early game. I gotta say, this is perfect thus far.
I mean, this is exactly what we saw in Movistar Riders as well. It was, hey, we're going to play heavily for Supa, make sure he gets into a position where he's comfortable, and then let him carry the fights. And Supa was one of the guys in the EMEA Masters that was the standout AD carry performers. A lot of people had Kalista as the main name that they were looking forward to in the AD carry position, the Carmine core player, but it was a very, very close second for Supa, and I think if Kalista wasn't there, a lot more people would be talking about this AD carry. And now, with the setup that he has, should be in a position to try and put forward an argument as to why he belongs here in the LEC.
Certainly a strong start. Strong argument thus far. 3-0 score for MDK. 1.5k goal lead. Myrwyn taking over to level 6. Early bit of tenacity to make the lane phase that much easier. Obviously, Gwen itemization pretty favorable on this patch. And while Gragas has been a reasonably popular pick from what we've seen, I think Gwen is just looking like one of the big benefactors, at least once she gets a few items. Beneficiaries, excuse me, of the patch.
I think she does need a little bit of time to get rolling, though. We've kind of seen her earlier on and against the Renekton for BB. Struggled a little bit there, and she can struggle in those early stages. But I'm not going to get to talk because Elyoya only exists for bot lane, and bot lane's not happy about it.
Kaiser, where's the bubble going to go? It has to be perfect, but there's just not enough clean from Alvaro. Bot lane destruction. Spanish ADC on Spanish ADC violence, and right now the team with more Spaniards looking pretty strong.
I'm pretty sure Elyoya still hasn't cleared his grop. He just went up, did blue, ganked bot. Cleared his wolves, cleared some bot, then immediately went bot again. Elyoya has just been living unceremoniously down here for the Heretic side, and unfortunately Jankos can't really cover again because they're consistently getting the push here for Supa and Alvaro on the bottom lane. You're just able to continuously have the 1v1 for Elyoya, and even in this case Alvaro was in a position to follow there as well. It just makes it so difficult for Jankos to try and cover because he just doesn't have that presence to go against the Xin Zhao.
And this is so tough because right now, top lane, you know, Wunder could probably get the push here, but the longer we go, it's going to be very hard in the side lane to come out on top in these lanes. The good news is he has a bit of built-in sustain, but bot lane is losing now as a result of the early plays there. And mid lane's fine, but this is a very tough early game for Heretics to navigate at the deficits they put themselves in.
And that's the thing, if Jankos tries to go for a split map, we're not really going to be able to dive top. Well, you maybe could, but it's like ganking top and getting Wunder ahead isn't going to dramatically change the outcome of the game. Whereas if you're actually in a split map and it's Elyoya that's able to isolate bot lane, that's huge. With the changes to the map, bot lane is so much more vulnerable because you've got that opportunity to get in behind them, go for the gank, and Flakked and Kaiser are worse for wear as a result.
No. Thus far, MDK hitting the ground running. Of course, Wunder getting triple tonic in the rune page, so we will get 3 different little pots. Opportunity. The final one, the one that matters the most is, of course, Elixir of Skill, which will just give you an extra skill point, similar to how Roa works, to put you ahead of the clock for skills overall. The other ones in between, they give you nice little bonuses here and there. Not too significant, but a laning rune to replace perfect timing. Of course, what used to give you stopwatch now located on Seeker's arm guard. So a lot of changes to keep up with. If you're overwhelmed, don't worry, so are we. Every time we queue into a game of League of Legends, we have no idea what's going on. Good news is these are pro players, which means they kind of know what's going on, but are also very overwhelmed by the changes.
But I think that's it, right? Like, even the fact that you see, as you were kind of saying, the list that went out to say, hey, this is the broken stuff. We haven't seen, like, Storm Surge Fizz, which was one of the things that was hit. I think it does show that, like, there is so much that has changed on this patch. A lot of people are still trying to figure out, and I think it's brought a lot of diversity even to our games today, where, I mean, we've got a Ryze, the new pick here, but Wunder might need to watch out for Myrwyn, force flash away, because Gwen was definitely one of the benefactors, and had a very clear build path of, I will go towards that Riftmaker, towards an Asher's Tooth, and now Wunder flashed us, and Elyoya's in the area.
Move up to the top side, Elyoya. Recalling has been spotted out and pinged. A retreat now as Perkz and Jankos do their best to clear a bit of this vision here. Gonna back off, and of course, yeah, old Riftmaker, I've already forgot what the Omni-Vamp item was called that built out of it. Leeching Leer, yes. Worst first back item in the game. That item was awful. The fact that you no longer have to build it, hidden buff.
Yeah, Haunting Guys, definitely a nicer item to pick up on your...
Or just raw IP, you know, blasting one and a tome. Tome down to 400 gold now, so a bit of an easier pickup. Perkz. On the retreat here, Elyoya can just step in. Another chain now connecting. That's going to be the follow-up. Elyoya sidestep there. When becomes lightning, he can dash in. He has the extended range, and he doesn't need anything else. Still has the ulti as well. Perkz, they're taking their time. They donate the kill to Fresskowy, and I got to say, Elyoya's discipline here to not take either of the kills, bot lane or mid lane, is massive for the team.
And Flakked forced to burn his cleanse and to get out of that one as well. I mean, MDK are showing up big. Jankos now wants to respond. Supa already getting into a position where he's going to be fine thanks to that ward that spotted out Jankos, so they just back away. Control now of 2 of these, all 6 of these Void Grubs as well. Means that for Myrwyn, who wants to play for sides, for Fresskowy, who wants to play for sides, they're going to be insanely strong. And now you've got control, but realistically you can probably look for the Rift Herald, but you need to keep control over bot as Jankos wants to go for this dive.
Supa backing off. It's like Team Heretics really need to get something here, but perfect guns to stop the wave push. Burnham active, into the Gragas active, massive burst damage on the minions. Wunder's just gonna throw down the ultimate. And what I'll say right now, Rob, is I'm very impressed. I think that coming in, this Movistar Riders shell that has been brought into this lineup, super aggressive, but often untempered aggression, and it costs them so much when we look at EMEA Masters, and you mentioned the finals already, but it feels more refined in the early game. Already Supa backing off, not getting over eager, knowing he's on the weak side of the map, knowing that the play had been made topside, not allowing Jankos that angle to gank. This is the team that's coming in with a level of discipline and composure in the early game that I didn't really expect. That said, they are pretty massively ahead, so it's a little bit easier to be disciplined and composed when you're playing from a 3K gold lead before 12 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, look, there's discipline and composed, and then there's like, we have one game plan and one game plan only. And that's to ruin Flakked and Kaiser's day. And I think Elyoya very much had that in mind as he came into today, because it has been consistently making his way down there. And I think that's where for MDK it has worked out fantastically for them. And even the fact now you got like that advantage leading over to Fresskowy as well, just makes it incredibly tough. Now, in position to look towards bot, they're just going to zone away the bot lane off the tower. And, I mean, look at Fresskowy again. He just leans bot side. It's like, cool. If anyone ever shows up to try and do anything at all, we've got an AD LeBlanc that's going to pop over the wall, zap you for a quarter of your health bar, and head off.
Yep, and another chain connects onto Perkz. Perkz now running for the hills. Phase rush, not enough. Elyoya there to follow up the game. Unplayable for the man in the mid lane. Perkz just not able to find anything.
And for Heretics, you opted into this. You saw the LeBlanc, you were like, no, we'll go for the Ryze. I mean, you had the Zhao coming through, you're like, no, we can take the Vi. Like, this is something that you knew this mid-jungle was going to turn into, and Jankos is not happy about it at all.
Elyoya on a tear. Nowhere to go. We're going to force the flash out from Jankos as well as the Q. Rob, this is a slaughter. It is 6-0. It is one game.
We're going to get flamed for our power ranking.
And a 9, yeah, we're going to get flamed no matter what. We've already gotten flamed a little bit, but now we deserve it. That's the difference, my good friend. Problem is, Team Heretics, this is the point where we talk about veterancy and can you find a clutch player, but League of Legends is a fun game because snowballing is very real, and clutch doesn't beat gold more often than not. Right now, MDK have a whole heck of a lot of gold.
It does. Oh, hang on. Maybe.
The top side. Knockback is there. One more stack. A little bit of extra healing should be an easy kill pick up. Extra Gwen healing. Not enough. Team Heretics finally firing back.
At least they get something here for themselves. Get Wunder an opportunity to get some damage onto this top side. I don't think it's going to make a massive difference, though, in the long run. Your biggest problem is still just this Aphelios getting a free lane, this LeBlanc getting to scale up. Yes, you can shut down some of the side lane pressure that might come from Myrwyn, but it's only going to be a ticking time bomb, essentially, to let it go. And look at your bot side. They're being completely zoned off by everyone here as Kaiser's going to die.
Yep, Kaiser's dead. Bye to the Nami. Fishing with dynamite there on that one. Alvaro now going to walk away. Flakked does decent damage here, has opted for the worst item name ever. No, I'm kidding. Voltaic Cyclosword is the name of the item. It is very hard to say as a caster, I will say that. But it is an Energizer item. It has lethality. It slows if you hit with it. And it's not going to matter, is the reality. Supa just walks in here and shreds through this tower. Everything is going right for MDK. We are just going to keep singing their praises, but they are wampa stomping, and that's kind of the crux of the discussion.
And I think that's kind of the big win here, is if you come in with like I think this is a great meta read from MDK across the board. Like, you're in a fantastic spot. And the start of our split's only 3 weeks. So if you're already picking up wins against some of our top teams here, like, you're just setting yourself up to make sure that you're going to be in that top 8 spot to move on into the playoffs. So MDK, like, picking up a win early against Heretics, who I think some people are kind of looking, going, hey, they could be one of our top 5 teams.
Yep.
This is a really big statement for the Mad Lions Koi squad.
And a constant reminder that whatever you believe on paper, the reality doesn't always play out that way. As MDK, again, hard to know what to expect. Players coming in from the LVP. Really showing up today on stage. Veterans struggling. So all this rookie aggression. Man. We finally get an Ardent for a Nami. And it doesn't matter. It's too late.
I think it's like, hey, look, yes, we'll get an earlier spike with the Voltaic Cyclosword in the Ardent, and maybe we can look for some sort of big play, but
we go.
It just feels so over.
It's kind of the Helm's Deep hold, but instead it works. You got Mites as the over the wall. It's now coming through. Fresskowy just barely able to make it back to Coin, not going to finish the job. Kill going over to Alvaro. And another tower following in favor of Mad Lions Koi.
This is brutal. This is the most one-sided game that we've had.
I'm going to be
all
honest.
day.
I did not, of any of the games that this could have happened in, I did not expect it to be this one.
I think it has been, though, like, well, hubris from Heretics. I'm going to use that word because it's an item, and now it's stuck in my head. But it's like overextending on so many of these early plays. It's come back to bite them. Even here, Kaiser, too close to the wall. You have zero vision. Fresskowy's able to just hop over and take it. So even the plays that we had in the early stages of like trying to contest when you just don't beat the early prowess that MDK had set up with the push into the invade, having push in mid lane as well. It just feels like Heretics were kind of like not giving the due respect to Mad Lions Koi, and they've responded perfectly with it.
Yep. Supa has opted before he even finished the Kraken for just an extra bit of lethality. Aphelios, fun fact, you know it's strong because the balance team said they were going to nerf it. Hasn't been nerfed yet though because the hotfix hasn't been applied, so some good reading there from Supa, from the support staff behind the scenes. If he does go Collector, he'll be my favorite Aphelios player this week because we've been playing that item a bunch, testing with it. It is very strong. Lethality is nuts on this patch, and that's why you're seeing so many Voltaic Cycloswords come out, whether it's on a LeBlanc, whether it's on a Lucian, or maybe a bit of lethality on an Aphelios as well. Regardless, it's a 7K gold lead. It's 17 minutes into the game. We are looking at the Harlem Globetrotters playing a pickup game against some kids right now. That is how far ahead MDK are. And those kids are some of the most decorated professional players in the history of European League of Legends. So understand how crazy that statement is.
Maybe we go with ground that instead. You know?
Yeah. There it is. Myrwyn now stepping forward. Wunder going to try to make it out safety, but there's Elyoya. Wind becomes lightning. Wunder becomes dust. And Elyoya just keeps walking in. Supa on the way forward now. Big damage coming in. Ulti not going to connect from Aphelios. Knock up there from the tidal wave to stop the play. But Fresskowy on a rampage. In the corner of your screen, he finds the pick. And Mad Lions Koi are dominating. Again, I take it back. That was rude. Team Heretics are the Harlem Globetrotters. MDK are the best basketball team in the world.
Okay, yeah.
There you go.
Good save, good
There
save.
you go.
I don't think there's much
You don't like
Heretics.
basketball, I don't know what to tell you, but I also don't watch it. I just know that one reference. Anyway, here we go. Fight breaking out. Supa now following up. Elyoya unstoppable. MDK building a highlight reel in one game that would take many players months. It is an effortless slaughter.
It's a beautiful alley-oop from MDK. Take it over the top side. And again, you just get to reset, and you just get to... yeah.
He's not even looking. He's just not even just throwing three-pointers.
Yeah, Michael Jordan, whatever other
Steph
references
Curry, like whoever you want to call. LeBron James. They're all here. They're playing together.
But again, it's Wunder. What are you going to do? Myrwyn has managed to get to a point, and he's already got the Nash suit. He's doing a ton of damage. Great Wind becomes lightning here to pick off Wunder in the back. And then Fresskowy, with the Voltaic Cyclosword completed as well. Just so much damage. Every dash, because you've now got it, is stacking 75% quicker thanks to the Voltaic Cyclosword. So the AD LeBlanc doing a ton of work with those energized attacks coming through and able to finish him off, working up towards the Triforce now. Fresskowy's going to be huge if we even get to that point.
And I like what we're seeing. I gotta say, you said it earlier, but I want to remind people again. I feel like Mad Lions Koi were the team that looked at the opportunity they had, which was the hotfix information coming out, and adapted the fastest. We've got lethality on Aphelios, something that's being hit. We've got AP top laner, something that's being hit. We've got AD LeBlanc mid lane, something that's being hit. They recognized and they adapted. Now, I don't know if they were practicing this stuff before the hotfix news came out, so they either get credit for having a great read or they get credit for adapting very quickly, but either way, this is a fantastic draft, and it has paid dividends.
Also a big bounce back from Elyoya. I think a lot of people were like, hey, look, Razork stepping up. He could be contesting for, hey, I'm the best Spanish jungler that's there. And Elyoya's kind of come in and said, hang on a second, lads. Like, I still exist here. Having a fantastic game, getting that early invade, setting up that bot lane, going for these picks. Elyoya, this is very much looking like he wants to make 2024 his year with this new roster that has been built around him.
Yep, Baron dead. I'm going to be honest. I guess a 12K goal lead at 20 minutes.
What do you got?
literally never seen this before in any of your games because you have surrendered before this point, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, look, I was expecting to have to fill because of a pause today. Not because there's just a massive goal lead where it's 20 minutes in. They've got banned, they're just sieging the base.
Hard. Team Heretics are hundreds of years behind. They got bows and arrows. There's artillery on the side of MDK. You do not step up.
I mean, if you look at the map, they're in the Dark Age, man. There is nothing that they know is happening.
We don't even know what happened. History will not record this moment. In all forms, transcription have been lost. Victory chant, a rallying call from the Koi fans here in Berlin.
Yeah, Myrwyn's just going to take bot tower, continue to shove in. This is what I mean. Wunder's kind of walked up to check that yes, he is in fact seeing Fog of War correct, or outside of Fog of War correctly. He's like, yeah, this is fine. It's made. It's gone.
I think tomorrow and today I'll briefly remind it's one game.
Exactly.
It is a promising start, but celebrate it for this one day, Koi, because this is fantastic. This is an incredible start for rookies against so many veteran players, and again against 3 of the most successful players our league has ever seen, in Perkz, Jankos, and Wunder. I mean, every single person here has won LEC.
I think
one person on the side of MDK has won LEC. Everyone else is playing their first game in LEC. That's crazy.
I think as well, it's that like we've seen some nerves from the rookies on stage today, but this has been clinical from Mad Lions Koi. Like it hasn't looked like, oh, okay, we've had like a mechanical slip up, like Fresskowy even going in and getting that pick onto Flakked was super nice. It feels comfortable. I think that is something that you kind of have to look forward and go, okay, cool. They understand how they want to operate at the map. They're able to follow great call-in at the moment to really push this game to a close very, very quickly. And I think that's kind of the biggest takeaway I'm going to have from this is, look, I think some people will look back and go, it was a great game. They had an early start that they're able to power through. Will they get that early start every game? That remains to be seen. But what they've done with this lead cannot be doubted. And also just, as I say, how comfortable these players look on the map against that veterancy is incredible.
Yeah, great look. Gold obviously remains hilariously in the favor of MDK. Just massive, massive advantage. But shout out to Myrwyn. You know, I think that when we look at Riftmaker, it feels like the default item. Sometimes you'll get components and then you'll go Nashers first, right? But going for the full AP itemization, just looking to shred with the ultimate, with the autos, with everything. Yes, maybe a bit more vulnerable, but massive, massive backline threat if left unattended. Supa about to cycle guns. MDK just got a really massive chokehold right now.
Sorry, I'm trying to look up some of the weird champions that Myrwyn played, because I know they touched on it at the desk, but like the Varus, the Ahri, like he's tank Karma in there. Don't be taken off balance by the fact that he's gone for the Gwen. This man at some stage will bring out the funkiest top lane picks that you've ever seen. Yep. And I'm very excited to see what he can do coming into this as well. So, I mean, look, great start here, and I'm just waiting for this slow stranglehold that MDK have to finish out here, because let's be real, I don't see a way the Heretics come back from this.
Copium Angle, 2 items for Perkz, 2 items for Flakked, 2 items for Wunder. Some room, they can lock down Fresskowy, but immediately the counterpunch now comes out. Jankos dies, knockback is there, hostile takeover coming through. Perkz is going to be in trouble as well. The chain's not quite going to connect. MDK will now break into the base, knock down this inhibitor. Look to take a second. Are they tanking up on the top side? Fresskowy going to jump over the wall, look to clear the wave. MDK, if they get way too aggressive, they can lose a fight here. They cannot lose the game, they cannot lose anything else meaningful, but they can lose the fight and shift the gold slightly closer to the side of Team Heretics.
Yeah, it's not happening.
No.
Heretics firmly underneath their own structures. 2 minutes 40 until Mountain? Question mark, do we get to that point? Because at this stage, I don't think so.
Place your bets. Are we making it to Mountain Soul? Who knows? 9 towers to 0. I mean, it's almost a perfect game. I don't know how we count Void Grubs into that. Jankos obviously got the first 3, and there's a kill, but you're dangerously close to a perfect game here.
I'm just sad we didn't get a way to.
And I love it because these Koi fans would have cheered that loud regardless of how well Mad Lions Koi were doing, but they're smashing, so it's even more justified.
I am just sad we didn't get away today. I was really hoping that I could go through, because I spent a lot of time today trying to figure out way combos,
Yeah, I know.
And it's so sad that we're not going to get it.
As a play-by-play, I didn't want to learn 10 ability names, so I messaged every pro I knew and asked if we were going to see Hui, and it was pretty universal consensus, so...
No?
I feel fortunate. Well, no, yeah, based on what we've seen today, right? But I'm ready. There's some despair in there. There's some ingenuity, art stuff. Figured out. Best part about Aphelios is nobody cares what the ability names are anymore. It's just about the guns.
Yeah.
Once you know the guns, you're fine.
Which I appreciate. Because I'm not going to lie, I can't even remember the name of one. I can barely remember the names of the guns, let alone the fact that they actually have spells attached to them.
They should, you know, that's why the colors are so nice. Imagine they were all the same color and you had to learn the symbol. Oh, that would be terrible design. All right, here we are. One last desperate hold. Maybe not the death of an empire, but certainly death in this first game for Team Heretics. Mad Lions Koi. Take another Baron.
It is crazy that it's second Baron at 26 minutes. Like,
well, it belongs to them, Rob.
It does,
you know.
It does. But it's like, everything is down. There is nothing left. And in worst case scenario, you kind of go, we'll get Dragon on the way out of this as well. But it's just Nexus turrets left. And you got waves coming in, Baroned up creeps, double super creeps across the board. Like, what the hell do you do here?
Supa, perfect guns to siege. Could almost cry. IE on the way. Probably could back and buy it. Probably just has chosen not to. Wunder going for the angle. Isn't going to find it. Of course, you got to respect it. There's not a lot of avenues to get you out of this. So might as well fish for him. Turret on the ground, untouched for now. Will be cleared out. Supa just laying down a little bit of damage. Wunder getting chunked away. Is a slow siege. It was the early game and the mid-game transition that made this one fantastic for Mad Lions Koi. This now is just their just desserts. They've earned this start to finish. Elyoya now going in. It's a quick final fight. It is a slaughter. Kaiser the last one standing, but it does not matter. Mad Lions Koi finding their first victory on stage.
I don't know what the word to describe that game in Spanish is, but it was a slaughter.
Okay, wait. We'll Google. This is the power of translation. Matanza.
Matanza, okay.
Matanza.
Or massacre. I'll take massacre. I know what that
Sacrificio. Massacre. I don't know how you pronounce any of those, but hopefully one of those is right. Key player of the game. Vote now at LEC on X. Elyoya, Fresskowy, Alvaro. Everyone contributed. Alvaro, especially in the bot side of the map. Had a great game. Elyoya was a powerhouse, as usual, when he's performing. Just a single game, of course, but a sick start for Mad Lions Koi.
And I think it's it fills me with joy to see that they are able to bring a bunch of these rookies and have that veterancy in Elyoya to try and, hey, we can cement that lead in bot lane. We can then shot call our way into a very, very strong lead, because I think one of the big things about this Heretic squad was the creativity that we used to see from that G2 top side, and they were just completely shut down by what was brought to the table.
Certainly were. Fantastic stuff. Hugs all around. Good start. Always feels good to get that momentum. And remember that our season, our regular season, at least, our best of one portion of this tournament is short. Momentum matters. Hitting the ground running matters. So while it is one best of one, it's, again, fantastic for the team. If they can keep this up, easy to see them moving into top 8. We'll see how far they can get in the best of 3s. Next up, playing SK, playing KC on Monday. Originally had written that one off, but now I'm looking at it with a very different mindset after a game like that.
Potentially me and Masters rematch, if you want to look at it that way as well. Not quite the Movistar Riders, but a lot of those players still here as well. So Sunday's going to be a bit of a banger for the squad. I'm actually looking forward to that as well. But yeah, I mean, great start here against Heretics. If they're performing like this, going up against SK, could be a game that, again, could be very, very close, could break either way. But there is a world where these come out looking very, very strong out of this first week.
Yeah. I'm not going to lie, folks. I'm still blown away that that was so hilariously one-sided. Yeah. I don't know what they were doing contesting that blue buff.
No.
We may never know. Maybe we'll talk to him about it later. But we're setting up for an interview right now. In the meantime, you get to hang out with us, contemplate the mysteries of the universe. Like, how did 4 rookies and Elyoya obliterate 3 of the most legendary players in the history of the league? Big mystery. Just a best of 1. If they can repeat that in a best of 3 or best of 5, insane. They're unlocking achievements that PlayStation and Xbox users didn't even know were possible. They've gone beyond Platinum Trophy with this one.
I think it is, though, just a great read of the meta. Like when you look at, I don't think I've seen people pick up Vi. I'm only so one. I don't think she's the 1v1 power. A lot of these situations to try and draw from us. I think the Lucian Nami, you've been kind of harping on a little bit of like, feels like it could be a little bit of a bait. Like, yeah. But I think it's again, the lethality of Aphelios, having good control of her bot side. I feel like that's the way the meta is going to go.
It looks good. Alvaro and Laure standing by, though. Let's hear what they have to say after that win.
A fantastic win on the side of this team, Alvaro. Thank you so much for joining me after your first LEC game. Tell me about it. How does it feel to play on that stage, finally?
I mean, for me, when I first played Superliga, I remember because I played Renata game as well, and it was completely the same. I was running around the map, doing every play I wanted, and it's what Merced told me, my coach. Just be free, do whatever you feel like, and it's what happened, and I'm really happy.
And that's amazing that on your first LEC game, you managed to channel this confidence and displayed it on stage. What was your mindset? Stepping on stage today and knowing that you were going to play your first game in front of this amazing audience cheering for you. There were a lot of fans for you today.
I mean, I think one big point that I have is that I don't really get nervous playing. I really feel like I'm playing at home. It's something that we really work on it, and I think we prove it. We went the other day here to start screaming, and I don't know, it feels like I'm always playing in this setup. And for me, it's just proving the rest of the people that we really believe it, and we will do it.
You had an amazing year last year. Did you expect to be picked up by the LEC this season, or did it come as a surprise?
When we were playing in EMEA Masters, we were already screaming into the top teams of LEC, so I don't think the jump of level, let's say, it was that high. I was already expecting it, because I already played into them. But anyways, I think not a single team, like you cannot really relax on any team. Every team has their strengths, and I think us as well. So you really need to work on that. And for me, yeah, I mean, I'm really happy because I feel like I'm always learning something in scrims.
All right, well, talking about more about you yourself, for people who may not know who you are, what are you looking to prove this year? Why should people remember Alvaro and get to know you on stage?
I mean, I want to prove the people that don't really believe on us that they are wrong. And I don't know, like, put a smile also on the fans, because I think it's insane what they are doing here. They're cheering for us. There is a lot of people that I don't even expect for them. So, like, I really want to give them a big hug, and thanks for coming, because it's really like, it feels so good when there's people cheering for you.
You'll see them a bit later. I'll let you join the fan meet in a couple minutes, but I have two more questions for you, because you mentioned not the pressure, but the expectations of playing in the LEC. And I know that most of people put your team last or in the last positions. I know that Elyoya said, you know what, guys, you'll see on stage, and they will show results. How did you take the fact that people did not believe in you and the fact that they did not believe that rookies could surprise that much? And is it something that is motivating you a bit more?
For me, it's a bit of motivation, but especially for my teammates, because some of them, they have like some wallpapers of people saying bad comments about them, so they get even more motivated. But for me, it's just the feeling of proving people wrong is like, it makes me feel well. Anyways, I find my own motivation in what I play, in what I do, because I love it. And I mean, let's see how the time proves wrong, and that's it. Just wait, because the results will come, and I'm really happy that today we could prove it.
And eat the haters in the meantime. Last question for you. We have Elyoya waiting at PGL with Sjokz and the rest of her panel. Anything you want to say to your jungler with the way he's been leading you? And what can you tell me about Elyoya helping you guys getting ready for the LEC?
I already knew Elyoya since before, because we were like talking in Discord. We were kind of close friends. So it was like easy to play with him. But I think the thing that he kind of make me improve the most is about vision and shot calling. I think he's like a really good leader, and he's helping a lot. And sometimes we are even taking the lead because we already know what he wants to do. So I think he's like a big impact, and I think he's a really good player, and I can learn a lot from him.
You're in good hands, of course, in your first steps in the LEC. Congrats on winning your first game. Gracias por la entrevista. I hope I did not butcher this. And yeah, thank you so much today. We'll see you tomorrow. And Sjokz, back to you for PGL.
Thank you, Laure. Your Spanish is getting better. I thought you didn't want to talk it, but you're good, actually.